props. Let's get that off my face. I actually look really... I can go to the ball. Hello, welcome and welcome back everyone. Hope you're all doing good. So for those that are unaware, I do quite a lot of Twitch streaming, which I'll leave a link to my Twitch channel down below. But while I've been creating book content, I know that a lot of my online community are readers. I love to see it. But a lot of them don't really know what kind of books they might want to read, because not all of them are readers, which is completely fair. So what I'm actually going to do is, in this video, I'm actually going to do some recommendations for books that are kind of aimed with gamers in mind, or at least to me. Either these are very reminiscent to games that you can play online, or they kind of give the same sort of vibes as games you play. So where we're going to start is I'm going to start with kind of gamer style books, and we're going to start with a book that I recently got, and I've already read this in the past. So a lot of these books I have personally read, I love them, and as a gamer they do give me very specific vibes. So we're actually going to start with kind of it is a gaming style book. It is Two Can Play by Hazelwood, and even though I would say this is definitely a gamer book, it's more so game development. So it's following along with these people who are, I believe they're trying to design a game based on their favorite book series. Yeah, that's literally what it says. And this was, I believe it was either originally only an audiobook or an ebook, but then it actually got released as a little tiny novella. And I would say that if you're actually looking for a place to start with reading, this one is actually a really good one to go with because it's not too long. In fact, it's 187 pages. There is also a bonus chapter, so it's a very little short little ditty thing. It's very cute. I would definitely recommend this book for those that are kind of more into the development side of games, because this is very cute. A little bit of romance. I mean, again, it's an Hazelwood book, and she's like one of the queens when it comes to romance. The next book I'm going to recommend, and I would recommend this entire series, because for those that really like sci-fi, especially games like Mass Effect. Tally, are you wanting to dance with me? You haven't even bought me dinner yet. You can dance if you want to, you can leave no friends behind. I'm going to show Aurora Rising. Now this is co-authored by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. This entire series is probably one of my favorite sci-fi series. I loved it. I really enjoyed the story. Again, it gave me massive Mass Effect vibes. I've got my daddy bags back! Oh, yeah, beastie! The series is definitely worth looking into. Yeah, the thing that I really like about this book is, I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis. You're basically, like, it's a bunch of characters that are graduating from the academy that they'll finally be able to go into space and do missions. But you have all these different characters who are obviously very different personalities. You have like someone that's a smartass, you have the alien warrior who is kind of having issues with his anger, you have a tomboy pilot, a cocky diplomat, and a sociopath scientist. It's really, really good. And then the idea is that the main character, Ty, who is part of the squad, they somehow end up saving this character called Aurora. And there's a whole thing with that. And you will find out about that if you read this book. Definitely recommend. Now, if we're going to talk gamey style books, I would absolutely recommend Warcross by Marie Lu. I haven't read this book in the longest time, but it is very much futuristic. From what I remember, you're basically wearing these special glasses. I think there might be some implant stuff happening. And there is this massive game going on, and the main character, I believe she's flung into the game, right? I would always recommend this book for gamers, mostly because it's kind of looking into the future and thinking, what would the world be like if everything was a game? Like, you're having these glasses on, you're like looking around, you can see people's stats above their heads. It's that kind of book that makes you think, maybe in the near future, that could be a reality. So I definitely recommend. And I feel like I would be completely off my rocker if I wasn't going to recommend, of course, Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is probably as gamer as you're gonna get. So this is a whole series. I would always recommend doing this as an audiobook. So if you're trying to start out reading or starting off with audiobooks, this is a good one because the audiobook for me really enhances the enjoyment. And the whole premise of this one is on a very particular day, if you were underneath anything, so inside a building, under an umbrella, just anything that you were like under, everything got flattened. If you were under something, you were basically gone. However, if you weren't under something, you are alive, obviously, but you get the opportunity to go into these very mystical stairs that appear all around the world. Obviously, this is also set in Earth. And if you were alive, you get to go down these stairs. You basically become a crawler. But with this book, you are following along with Carl, who was trying to save his ex-girlfriend's cat, Donut. And Carl and Donut go down the stairs together. They get to pick stats and whatnot. But then Donut gets a special thing and basically makes her an actual player in the dungeon. And her, who is obviously Princess Donut, we love her, Princess Donut and Carl are trying to get through the dungeon and live. And it's a whole fun series. There's achievements, there's boss battles, it's great. So if you're very much someone that likes dungeon crawling, this is the book for you. The next book I'd recommend though is this lovely book. This is by Django Wexler, and it is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. So this story is great. I love it. I do have the second book, which I haven't actually read yet, and I've heard really good things. This book is following along with Davy, and somehow she's ended up in this alternative world. Think isekai anime, but she's ended up in this world, and over and over and over again, she is trying to become the hero. And every single time she fails, she gets killed. And there is some trigger warnings, like it does talk about being unalived multiple different ways, unaliving yourself, etc., etc. However, whenever that happens, she ends up back in this one location to do it all again. However, on this particular time, she's had enough of being the hero and she kind of wants to become the villain. So she has this whole plan. Instead of becoming the hero, she wants to become the Dark Lord. And it goes from there. And it is a very, very, very good fun book. I would definitely recommend this book as a gamer thing because, again, it does feel very gamer. There's like orcs, there's like quests, etc. But I would also recommend this book for those that like anime because it is basically an isekai in book form. But yeah, definitely recommend this one as well. Now, the last singular book I will recommend before I recommend a whole series is this is the kind of book I would recommend for those that really like cozy games, comfort games. For me, those are games kind of akin to Animal Crossing and whatnot. And it's not really a gamer book. However, I would definitely recommend The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Now, as I mentioned, this isn't really a gamer book. There's nothing gaming about it, except maybe the games the little children play. But this book to me gives the same sort of comfy, warm hug vibes that Animal Crossing and comfy games give. And it is very cute. It's very, very gay. I love it. But if you're looking for a book that gives you those comfort vibes, this is a good one. I would also recommend, if you really like games like Phasmophobia, my personal favourite, the Lockwood & Co. series. definitely recommend. It's basically the same vibe, so definitely recommend that. Now I left this recommendation to the last because one of my favorite games is Stardew Valley. I was actually one of the original beta testers for the game. I love it. However, if you are looking for a series that basically makes you feel like you're reading a story set within the Stardew Valley world, I would recommend the Dream Harbor series. Cute. So, this series is probably one of my favorite small town romance series of all time. And I am so excited to read the Daisy Chain store shop later this year. I think it'll come out sooner than later, but just so I can hold up a book. But you are starting off with the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and these are all interconnected stories based on different couples within Dream Harbor. So to me, Dream Harbor is very much like Stardew Valley. You have a cafe, you have a baker, you have places to go, you have like little meet and greets with the different people, they have their different routines, and I love it. It really gives me the proper small town comfort vibes. And don't let these covers fool you. If you wanted a little bit more spice from your Stardew Valley playthrough, you will find it within the series. But each of the books, they follow along with various different residents within the world. Kind of think if Clint was finally going to get together with Emily. Finally. You'll find those types of stories within these books. But if you do have any other recommendations for books that potential gamers may enjoy, do leave them in the description because it will be very helpful for people to kind of share their own ideas. But these were only a couple of suggestions, kind of based on what I personally enjoy as well. So Mass Effect, Stardew Valley, Phasmophobia. The house is alive with the sound of freezing. There's also Amie 5, and I love to see. So while wrapping up, if you are just wanting to say that you were here and you don't know what to post, leave the gamer controller. I feel like that would be quite an apt one for this video. But yeah, hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Right? Bye. Why is my mouth smacking? However, if you are indeed... Camera's on 5%.